Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel, Adventures in America. If you are new to my channel, my name is Jocelyn and I'm a dual citizen of the United States and the Philippines. And for today's topic, we are going to talk about the top reasons why the Philippines has the most ridiculous travel restrictions in the whole world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. And please give this video a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate it. I've been monitoring the travel restrictions in the Philippines and there's a lot of changes that have happened in the last 8 or 10 months. Number one, the Philippines is the only country in the whole world to require both a face shield and a face mask when arriving in the Philippines. If you know of any country that requires both, then you can post the country down below in the comments section. I just wanted to know the reason behind requiring a face shield because not everyone is really wearing one once they are in the Philippines. Some are wearing them like a head shield and it looks funny or ridiculous when you already have your face mask, and it's harder to breathe sometimes when you have your face mask for a long period of time. Here in the US, the face shield is not really required, but some states or maybe in some other places in the US, the double mask is going to be implemented. But here in Nevada, we are required to wear a face mask when entering a building or when you're going to the store. But not everyone is required to wear a mask at their work or when you are outdoors, but some public areas such as a playground, you are required to wear a face mask, or it is encouraged, but there is no penalty if you are not wearing one. Number two reason, when the government issues a new rule or regulation regarding the travel restriction, most of the time there is little notice. So if you are scheduled to fly in like maybe a week, the rules can change and it's hard to rebook your flight or make a different schedule based on your own time of availability. And also it's not easy to request for a time off if you are working full-time here in the US. And sometimes when everything is already booked and you have everything planned together, suddenly the government comes up with a different restriction and there's only like maybe a day's notice or a 3 days notice, or most of the time the longest notice that they will give you is like about a week, and I don't think it's enough time to really change your itinerary in going to the Philippines. Also, there are a lot of agencies involved in implementing the new travel restrictions. In the Philippines, there is the Bureau of Immigration, because once you enter the Philippines, you have to clear the immigration and you need to present your documents, and sometimes they could deny you entry because for some reason you don't know the rules during that time, because they change rules anytime. And some of the government agencies are interconnected. However, there are consulates or embassies abroad that are not very much aware of what's going on, like within a day that a new rule is issued, or when you call them it's hard to get them on the phone, or it takes a longer time for them to respond because they are still getting information. And then you need to find the actual announcement from the government, and sometimes it's hard to find that actual information. You have to rely on the social media or the news, which sometimes are not very accurate, or they're not stating the actual rules or the actual announcement from the government. Another reason is that foreign tourists are not yet allowed to enter in the Philippines. However, I'm not sure why they are treated differently from the other foreign nationals who are considered like a spouse or a former Filipino. What difference does it make if you are a foreign tourist? Like every foreign nationals should be categorized differently. However, would COVID be detected if you are just a foreign tourist, or you don't have like an immediate family members in the Philippines, like let's say you don't have a spouse, because most of the rules require that the spouse or the foreign spouse must travel together with their Filipino spouse to have a visa. However, if you're not traveling together, the foreign spouse must secure a pre-approved visa from a consulate abroad. So what is the connection between the pre-approved visa and then when traveling together with your Filipino spouse? Like, what would it matter? Like, would you get COVID? Would COVID be detected when you travel together with your Filipino spouse? So I don't really understand, like, if there's a science behind this, like a study that why foreign spouses are prioritized, or what difference does it make if you are not the spouse of a Filipino national. Another reason is that even if you tested negative for COVID, you will still have to undergo like 14 days of quarantine. So most arriving passengers have only limited time to go on vacation. And here in the US, you don't really get that 1 month vacation or 2 months worth of time off to go somewhere to go on vacation, but most of the time you're entitled to like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So if you only have like 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time off and you wanted to visit the Philippines, the first 2 weeks will be spent on quarantine alone, and the remaining time of 7 days will be spent like at home, maybe with family and friends, but you have limited movement. And if you wanted to go to a certain place, you have to secure the necessary travel document or medical clearance to even go to a different province or a different city. Let's talk about being vaccinated. So before traveling to the Philippines, you're already vaccinated because you are entitled to be vaccinated based on your age or your profession or on different factors. However, even if you are vaccinated, Philippines will still require you to undergo swab testing and also quarantine for 14 days. So it really doesn't matter if you are vaccinated or not, because you are placed in the same category as those who are not yet vaccinated. There's a new travel restriction that was imposed effective February 1st, and the rule requires that once you arrive in the Philippines, you need like a pre-booked quarantine facility for at least 7 nights, and you will be tested on the 6th day. So one reason that I consider this ridiculous is that why on the 6th day? Why can't it be on the 5th day or the 4th or the 3rd or the 2nd? Or on the 8th or the 9th? So what's the science behind the number? Like, you must be tested on the 6th day. Is it because the symptoms will appear on the 6th day or the first 5 days? So I'm not sure, but if there's like an explanation as to why it was set on the 6th day, then I need to see that explanation. Another reason is that there is a rule that only one person is allowed in the hotel room or in the quarantine facility. However, if you are traveling with your spouse, you needed to split together and secure 2 rooms for a couple. So I think that is a rule that is really questionable. And the rule requires that you can only be together in the room if you can secure like a special waiver that the other person has medical conditions, or if the other person is a child or a minor below 18 years old. So that is understandable. If you have several children traveling with you, I have like a comment received, and this mom has 3 children and 2 of them are adults. So there's actually three adults, and she needed to secure like three different hotel rooms for just one family. So that would really impose unnecessary expense for this family, and now this rule is needs to be strike down based on my opinion. The family should travel together and they should stay in the hotel because it would be unnecessary to separate all of them to just comply with this rule. Another reason is that when you travel domestically in the Philippines, you needed to have like a travel document or a medical clearance or a police clearance. And it's not easy to obtain all these clearances from the Philippine government or from the specific LGU or the local government unit. And sometimes you spend all your time getting tested, getting on quarantine facility and securing all these documents. So what's the use of vacation? What's the point of going there for a vacation if you cannot even enjoy your time with your family and friends? Another reason is that in different parts of the Philippines, there are different levels of community quarantine. There are different rules when it's general community quarantine or enhanced or modified quarantine. And it's not easy to understand sometimes when you travel like from one place or a city to a different province because the restrictions are different. You can only travel once you secure the necessary documents, and there are age limit for those who are allowed to go outside. Any one of you who have been to the Philippines, have taken all these tests, secured all the documents, and experienced what it's like to take a vacation, I would really appreciate it if you would share your experience in my video and share it in the comment section below. And tell us what you think about those travel restrictions, what needs to be done, what needs to be changed, what you think needs to be prepared ahead of time. Do we need to secure all these documents? Is it worth it to even take a vacation? How much money you have to spend as food, accommodation, and travel expenses? So I really wanted to know what you think about the Philippines travel restrictions imposed at this moment. So we don't know, anything could change. There might be a new official announcement from the Philippine government that foreign tourists will be allowed, but this is my prediction. Based on the rules implemented in the past 6 or 10 months, it is my conviction that the Philippine government will treat the foreign tourists as those foreigners, the same as foreign spouse who is not traveling with their Filipino spouse. What does it mean to you? So that means if you are a foreign tourist and you are planning to go to the Philippines anytime this year or maybe next year, you need to familiarize yourself with the requirements of getting a tourist visa from the consulate abroad. Because once it's open, when the government makes an announcement that foreign tourists are now allowed, they will require that you secure or get a pre-approved tourist visa abroad. So make sure that you get ready with this document. So if you have like an important visit that you needed to do, like visiting your fiance or getting married in the Philippines, you needed to pay attention to the documents in securing a tourist visa. And I'm going to send the link below about the video that I've created in securing this visa. And you need to pay attention to the jurisdiction or the territorial jurisdiction covering your place of residence. My advice right now is that if your travel is not essential, postpone your travel. Or there are other ways you can still communicate with your loved ones in the Philippines, there's technological tools that we can use. You can use a messenger or FaceTime or use Zoom or anything like a video conference with your friends and relatives. Or you can just send them a remittance or money, or send them a balikbayan box or a package. I also made a video regarding that, how to send a balikbayan package in the Philippines. There are other ways to communicate or do a virtual visit, but if you are ready to travel, then go ahead, save up some money, make sure that you secure the necessary documents, have the financial capacity, secure your medical insurance, and make sure that you are updated with the latest government announcements. Again, thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I hope everyone is staying safe, and if you have any other questions or comments, please post the comments down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for tuning in and have a great day.